Hello and welcome back. So here's another kind of impromptu session, just playing around with refactoring the kind of current state of the Laravel programming language. Um, I think it was yesterday actually that I was working on this last, but I had just finished up with I think breaking breaking the project down into more files. There were some bits that weren't as straightforward because of coupling between the concepts. For this file in particular, there's coupling between function definitions. First of all, there's coupling in one direction between function definitions and the AST definition of expressions and things like that. So functions are defined in terms of AST primitives. So that's coupling in one direction. There's coupling in the other direction on the stack as well, for closures in particular, because functions are function definitions close over the scope at the point at which they're defined. And because of that, there's coupling with the scope as well. Now, there are probably ways to decouple those. One could be um, at the moment, built-in functions are defined in terms of Rust functions that um, take an optional this parameter and a list of arguments and then return a result. One workaround to decouple functions from both of those could be to from both scopes and from the AST could be to abstract it behind this kind of a setup as well. And when we're going to store a function, we actually store the evaluation mechanics as a function. Again, that's probably a little bit more advanced potentially than what I'm currently equipped to do with my current knowledge of closures. But one simple thing that I started doing at the end of yesterday's stream was introducing just these wrapper functions, which realistically don't look like a whole pile of code, but I basically it was a straightforward refactor to wrap a load of these, replace these kind of structures with just a straightforward function call. And if I do a quick git diff just to show show the changes, and like it really does, cut down on a chunk of code. Like it's not like I'm eliminating loads of lines here, but even in terms of instead of having to go new val ref value int n and then the exit code, you just go new int exit code. So it's it's not groundbreaking by any means, but it does improve things, I think. And again, it's not affecting too many areas as well, but it's just a little quality of life improvement, I think. So so I'm going to add that now. And just commit that. And what I'd like to do next is update the value types so that the kind of more basic ones like bool and list and object. Well, first of all, actually, I'll replace yeah, I'll replace definition here of anyway, I'm saying too many things at once. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. But basically what I'm wanting to do next is, yeah, maybe because I already have object, which refers to a hash map from strings to valref with source, and that's something that I might refactor as well. If I could come up with a term that doesn't necessarily mean this, but will mean it in the context of this language or this language's implementation, something like, I don't know, item, and that will mean that, I'm not sure. But where objects are hash maps from strings to those, I'll have lists which are constructors of those. So that'll be something I'll be adding next. But let's see, I'll just commit this first. And then once I've that introduced and applied throughout, then I'll be replacing some of these kind of struct-based definitions of these types. I'll be replacing those with tuples. This was actually suggested in the by a commenter previously, and yeah, I think that's a good idea for the more where the variant basically equates to a simply typed value. So I'll commit that and implement constructors for value variants. And I'll put back in this lists, and I'll do a search for valref with source. So wherever we find that, in fact, I'll hop to the next one. I'll replace that with list, and we go there, and that simplifies the definition of built-in functions as well. In mod, there'll be a couple of places. First, I'll have to import it, and I'll put that there. That needs a space. Value. Oh, that's where I was. And valref. No, there's none in that file. That'll be list. And did I make it a public use? Yes. So that's not currently defined in main. And do I need to import object in here as well? I don't, because objects aren't being used in that way at the moment, but whoops, but lists are. And did I separate prototypes out as well? Yeah, so there's a bunch of these that can, yeah, I wonder, can I define a new object constructor as well? But yeah, all of these valref with sources as well can be replaced with lists. So what's going wrong here in this case? Can I find type list? In eval mod. Oh, I typed it as lists. So let's try this now. Yeah, and that seems to be all right. So define list alias for vector of valref with source. So then with that done, next to come is, now this will probably be quite an involved change, but it probably is for the best. So if I go bool there, and yeah, that's going to change a lot of things. First of all, I'll update that, and then in mod, so for a lot of these, it'll just be replacing basically braces with brackets, or braces with parentheses. And this can be changed to that. Oops. Oops. I really could do a macro actually for these. Yeah, maybe I'll do it like that. So if I do a search for value bool, and I'll define new macro q, I'll find the opening parentheses or brace, replace it with that. I'll find the closing brace and replace it by that, and then jump to the next one and end the definition of q. So that, yeah, that seems to have done it. And I think that's actually all of the booleans in value anyway. So I can move on to, is it prototypes? So let's try that macro again. There were just 2 errors left with that. And then in main, I need to update that as well, 127. And there we go. And because this will be kind of one of a group of related changes, I'm actually going to put this into its own branch as well. So let's see, this refactoring is no longer splitting into files. It's actually quite a general purpose refactoring. So yeah, I've messed this up somewhat in terms of keeping the history clean. Yeah, so these 3 changes are related, but these top 2 that I've just made recently kind of betray that. Should I fix this? Like, there probably isn't a great need for it, but I do like to keep Git history clean somewhat, even if this is a work in progress, overall a work in progress branch. Let's see, what I could do is keep a copy of this branch, make a backup of this branch, revert back up to from head, merge that back into work in progress Laurel, resume backup, rebase the backup, and then rename the backup. So yeah, maybe I'll do that, and I'll always have the ref log to go back if I mess something up. I hope, as in I hope ref log will be there to help me out. So I'll just do create a backup of where I am at the moment. Oh, I already have backup. So let's see, check out, I'll call this refactor backup. And then I'll check out the branch I was just on, which was split into files. I'm currently 2 ahead of origin. I really should actually push that just in case, so I'm not losing, potentially losing data. So I will check that out. I want to do a hard reset, which is very dangerous, but I have an idea of what I'm wanting to achieve with this. So now I can check out work in progress Laurel, and I'm ahead of, so that branch can be pushed as well. Anyway, I'll do a git merge of refactor split into files. Yeah, that was straightforward enough. In fact, oh, that did a fast forward. Didn't really want that. I'd actually wanted to do, in fact, my my original branch is still there, so I could actually, and again, this is all a little bit silly in terms of in terms of keeping the git history clean, but yeah, I suppose I'm a bit silly. So I'm going to do git reset hard head to get back, and I didn't push the updates, so that's all right. And I'm going to do git merge no fast forward on the refactor split into files. Merge refactor that into that, push that, and then I can check out refactor backup, rebase it onto work in progress Laurel, and yeah, so those are out of sync now, but that's all right because I'm actually going to be renaming this branch. So this is going to be refactor, what's this going to be? Value, I suppose, value constructors or value access, value, I suppose, value usage. Not a fantastic name, but it's fine. And I'll push that to origin refactor value usage so that I overwrite that that backup push. Is that what I want to do? Yes, I think it is. So yeah, now I'm ahead of the Laurel branch and I have everything pushed. So I defined list, and where I am now as well, I still have, where did my changes for Booleans go? Did I lose that in the, oh, I might have done something very, very bad in terms of doing my reset heads. So if I do less eval mod, if I do a search for bool, yeah, I've accidentally reverted all my changes. At least I have these actually as local copies in Vim, so I can restore a bunch of them, not all of them. I can still use my Q macro at least to revert some of these. But yeah, that was an oversight and for not much benefit. But yeah, it's all good. If I save this now, and compile, yeah, all is working again. So that's use tuple for value bool variant. And in fact, the whole reason why I was starting this was to group a bunch of these refactorings as well. So I'll do the same thing. So I'll create a new branch, refactor, tuples for value variants. I'll check out refactor value usage again and reset that one change. And go back to tuples where I still have this this update with the bool variant. Whew. So now I'm back to where I was. I'll go into value and do the same for int. So this is an I64. And in mod, so I'm not, oh, can I use my, well, not there, I can't. I can only do it when I'm, but here I can reuse my macro from earlier because it's defined in terms of braces rather than in terms of the, whoops, rather than in terms of the actual identifier. And that's probably it in mod, is it? So we have prototypes and main, I'm guessing. So let's try that. Oh, why didn't that kick up an issue for bool? That's funny. Not quite sure why that happened. And I'll have to replace that actually with a new val ref with int. So main 130. Oh yeah, I didn't actually save that. And so what was the name I did? So git add p first of all. And maybe I will jot that as a little to do for a second after I hopefully merge this branch shortly. So prototypes.rs. New valref. All right, so that's those ready to go. So this will be add tuple for value int variant. Yeah. And next is string. And we'll have list and object as well. So string will, oops, keep getting my parentheses backwards. That's the difficulty of using a different different keyboard at work to the keyboard you use at home. So let's see. Oh yeah, value string or stir. In fact, why don't I define a new macro for this and call it QH. So if I find this, I'll go to the opening brace and then I'll go to the closing brace and just replace those. And then I'll go to the next one. So that's a QH as well. Same there. This is a QQ replacement. Whoops. QQ, QH, 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 QQ, or at Q to actually run the macro. Yeah, that seems all right. So then jump to prototypes. Yeah, those all seem good. Value, oh no, that's just referencing a different one, isn't it? Oh no, it's, yeah, 148. And then the last few in main. So 102, that's my QH, and this is my Q that. Oh yeah, I need to sort those as well. So that's in type prime. So git add p. This is a good opportunity to make sure I didn't mess something up with my macros. LHS, RHS, LHS to owned. All seems good so far. Yeah. So then that's the usual. And that's for a string. Yep. I must move those kind of global bindings and the associated functions out of main as well at some point. Move globals out of main. All right. So I'm only going to give this about 10 more minutes before I have to run, but let's see what I can get done in that amount of time. So there's list and object still. So if I do my QQ there, no, that doesn't work. So let's do it that way. I'll have to update new list. That can use QH. Value list QH QQ. Oh no. What went wrong there? QQ. That's a QH, QH, QH. Why is it leaving that that spacing? Maybe I'll update the macro anyway. Oh, it's because oh, I'm after messing that up. It's because when I did it before, it was chopping off 3 spaces at the start, whereas I'm not supposed to do that now. So record queue, jump to opening parentheses. In fact, to make it more flexible, what I should do is find that, delete up until white space, and replace that, and then jump to next, and that will then give me a more versatile match that should work on both list and, you know, when I do it on object next as well. Oh, so that's in, oh yeah, that's the prototypes. Because I want to look at that in a second, see why, like, well, it doesn't really matter, but, you know, it's nice that it looks like the rest of it, but it does seem strange to me that I can pattern match using the struct notation. Yeah, a bit odd. Anyway, jump to main. That's a H. That's all right. Oops, not into there. That's a H, and that should be more or less done, is it? Not seeing any errors so far. That's promising. Yes. So replace all those. And in fact, I should have just been using that, not having to check the head of the log, but that's fine. Go back to value again, and then the last one is object. And with that, oh no. And with that the way it is, maybe I'll leave that as props. So yeah, the next one is so that should be all of those prototypes. Nothing in there. Main, I do have something in there. And that should be all of objects done. Oops. Oh, good. There we go. So add all of those. Make sure I didn't introduce any silly typos. Yeah, all looks good. Okay, and so that is all of those, and in type, yeah, I don't really need to change those. No, that's fine. Scratch that. So I'll take a look at my log. Where did I come from? Refactor, value usage, git merge, refactor tuples. And yeah, one more bit was to update prototypes, and there were those new val refs. Did I create new val refs for built-in functions? I did, but I didn't use them for some reason, and not in here anyway. New built-in func. And I can probably do a similar thing here. In fact, no, but I can do something similar where I define a macro, and new built-in func, and change that. New string. I forgot to replace all of those yeah, values with the new functions. So so this would be a new bool. This would be a new int. Let's see, so I have a mismatch, line 29. Sneaky. Could those be new objects? Oh, hey Logan, how are you doing? I was watching your video earlier, actually. One of the recent yeah, Advent of Code challenges. Looks cool. So yeah, it's nice to learn new bits and pieces. So let's see, line 81, new bool. Yeah, so not found in a val. Why isn't that in a val? It's a public function. Oh, thanks for the question. Yeah, it's going well. Really happy with the progress recently. I have this kind of is an in-between session because I really haven't been disciplined about refactoring, and I've been called out on it a few times. So just tidying up the code base, but I got a big chunk of the programming language done, and I'm currently working through. If I get it up here, get docker sh. Basically, I'm converting a big. Oh, why is my? Oh no, it's not docker.sh. Get docker.com. I'm currently converting a big demonstrative shell script from shell to my language that intends to kind of replace shell. So just a quick demo of what that's looking like at the moment. Again, no syntax highlighting for Vim for this language at the moment, but you know, it's doing things like this. So yeah, I suppose there's not much to say about it, but yeah, it's going well. I'm happy with how it's going anyway. I was able to do a lot of the functions or the features that I wanted without too much difficulty. But yeah, so oh, thanks very much. Um, so cannot find new string um, and those in eval for some reason. Are they not being re-exported? Okay, so new string doesn't exist first of all. New bool isn't being re-exported, so that's the reason for that. So with both of those, hopefully, oh, well done on the catch. Yeah, well, that's yeah, that's I suppose that was a bit of an oversight, all right, in the first place. So I wouldn't go congratulating myself for that. But yeah, I will say, yeah, it's late at night, so I'll go easy on myself. So these are, yeah, git add p, and what did I comment the last time I did something like this? So it was that was implementing constructors for value variance. So I'll commit that as apply more constructors for value variance, or maybe, whoops, only one m in amend, isn't there? Meaning, oh yeah, thanks for popping by, and yeah, see you next time. I'll be running shortly myself, so thanks. So yeah, speaking of which, I do need to run shortly, but again, having a bit too much fun with all of this. So I'll push that. Yeah, I won't change these to new objects just yet. But having said all of that, looking relatively well, all things considered. Need to move those into global at some point, and I need to cut down on these, I think, just to keep things clean, I think. Oh, actually, that was something that I wanted to do, so maybe I'll try and merge this for the moment. Although, no, that was a thing that I was saying I couldn't do in the short term because, oh, maybe I can, yeah, can I do it that way? Anyway, I'll see if I can, so I've refactored value usage. I'll merge that back into Laurel. Work in progress. Laurel, git merge, no fast forward, and what was the branch I was just on? Refactor value usage. And now that I'm in here, what I'd like to do is for function calls, I'd actually like to have those defined off of value itself. So I'll get rid of those. Whoops. File changed, but I didn't actually modify anything. It was just git Git touching the files, I guess. Okay, so if I remove them like that, it does mean that they're not published in the same way. Yeah, so maybe I do have to just leave those like that for the time being anyway. Not too big of a deal. It's not my personal preference. I can always, like I will hopefully be refactoring this to this file even to be to basically just forward values out of the module instead of actually defining extra stuff in it as well. But for the moment, yeah, that's all right. What were there any other main things? No, creating those constructors, introducing the list type, tuples for value variance. Yeah, that's a big chunk of the refactoring work that I had wanted to do for the moment anyway. The next will probably involve attempting to shrink the scopes or basically just clean up sections containing mutex guards. So that'll be some work for the next session if I can get around to it this week. But yeah, as usual, thanks very much to everyone who took a look at this stream. Again, not too much in the realms of adding new features or anything like this, just kind of refactoring work, but that's important too. So yeah, thanks for watching and take care.